You guys are not familiar with NetBeans ID, any ID, see, earlier when you used to learn some program like C, you used to actually code it in Notepad or something, right? But as programming became tougher, I mean, not tougher, as the requirements become bigger, as you are coding bigger programs which are divided into modules and other things, the use of an IDE is very useful. And recent days IDEs like NetBeans, JDeveloper or Eclipse, they do many of the things that you would have need to done, and so they do all of these things transparently behind the back. So you don't have to worry about much of the things. You need to just worry about what business logic you need to put. All of these IDEs generally would have features like generate some web service, SOAP web service or REST web services, or generate CRUD operations out of database, all these features, or even generate templates for different J2E frameworks like JSF or struts. So if you actually start using an IDE, if you guys have not actually gone into an IDE, start using any IDE, maybe NetBeans or maybe Eclipse or something. So I'll show you how to create a SOAP web service out of NetBeans, and this will show you how simple it is. You don't have to worry about all the details that my friend has told, right?
What I told.
Yeah, so all the details, so it just makes your life simpler, right? And so NetBeans comes with an inbuilt server as well, J2E server, so that is Glassfish. You can use your other servers like Tomcat and other things as well. So I'll be using your Glassfish server. So it's very simple, just do a new project here. Yeah, I'm selecting web application. I'm just showing you how to calculate, right? So calculate. Yeah, so here I selected the Glassfish server. Here I could have selected the Tomcat or any other server that you install, maybe WebLogic or any other server. So yeah, no need to do any of these things. See, NetBeans makes it so easy to create a Spring application or JSF or any other thing. I mean, you guys would learn about it if you work in it, or even in companies if you do. So no need to worry about it now. So yeah, so it is creating the selected frameworks. Basically an empty page. It creates an index.jsp. I don't need index.jsp. So what I need is, I need to create some logic which will say add two numbers, right? So I'll create a Java class like calculator package. Giving a package name is a good coding convention. So I come up with a calculator. So I just write a method here, right? I just write a method like public int add two numbers.
How many will be from
Correct.
outside?
I'm just going to return you
The rest.
A plus
the rest
B.
people have in addresses
right.
from outside.
This would work.
Only
You guys have
white and
done that
black
in
is
Java or
just
C++.
strict
How to
dress
make it
code
into a
today.
web service?
Yeah.
See how simple it is. Right click the project, right, and select new. There would be a web service, new web service. Yeah. We'll give it a meaningful name. Calculate SOAP service, something like that. Package, maybe some package. Okay. So let's see where it has created the web service. Yeah, as you can see within web services category, it has a new file added here. I double click it, it opens up another file. This is my file that I wrote, okay, and this is the file it created. It's a Java file. So it just created an empty file with the annotation. See the annotation here, @web service. So this is a Java EE6 annotation which tells you that this class would be modeled as a web service, right? SOAP service. So now I have to add a method here, a web service operation. As in SOAP, you guys have seen that in SOAP there are methods like create service or something. I'll show you how it looks actually. So what I do, you just go into the design mode, right, and click add operation. It's very simple as that. You just say add, and what it returns, we saw that it was returning int. I'll add two parameters here, a, that's an int, then a b, That's also an int. So now it has created that. Let's see the source. Wow, so it has created a method called add, right? Annotated it with the annotation called @web method, and it says that the operation name is add, right? And what are the parameters that this method is taking? It is taking two web parameters, generally A and B, but it has also annotated the methods called A with the annotation called @web parameter. So this it uses actually to create your web service, right? And the description of the web service, as my friend said, Wisdom. That's a web service description language, how web service is described. I'll show you that with an example. So here I can just return A plus B, right? But since I have called already, I have created a calculator method, so I'll just do like this. Yeah, okay. Calculator dot add. Okay, so it is done. So it has become a web service now. So I have to deploy it now. So what I'll do is I'll deploy it. So it starts up the server attached. Since I attached Glassfish server, so it will start it. So you guys have heard about Glassfish server? It's a full-fledged J2E server, and it's a reference implementation of the Java EE framework that is generated, right? So there are other servers as well, like WebLogic, or from IBM there is WebSphere server. So this is a reference implementation. Okay. So you don't need to worry about it. For example, when we learned this programming and all, so we used to bundle our code into jar, into specified structure that Tomcat would understand. Then we used to put that in the Tomcat root directory. Then it was deployed into the Tomcat server. But when you are using an IDE, you don't need to bother about any such thing. It's so easy. You just right click and deploy. So it has installed there. Okay. So I'll just now run it. I'll right click it and say test web service. So this feature also NetBeans provides. So see, it has generated a web page to consume my web service, right? So this is the web service that it has generated. Okay. So it has given me two text boxes. So it has understood this, that my web service takes two parameters, right? A and B. I give 10 and 20, and I say add. So what it does, it said it got the result 30 based on the code that we wrote, right? But this is SOAP. So how the actual message got transferred? It would be a very big and confusing envelope, right? So the SOAP request, it's a HTTP request, and the response, HTTP response. So how did this service send it? We just sent two text boxes, right? But it sent it like this. So there is the SOAP envelope. Header is empty because we are not handling security and other access things. So what is in the body? Body has the name of the method called add, right? And the parameters that the method takes, right? So this SOAP is a framework, it's a protocol, right? Yeah. So the SOAP implementation on the server side also, that would actually parse it, retrieve these values, right? And call the appropriate web method that we were calling. It actually calls this method that we saw, this method, in which we can just write return A plus B here itself, but I am calling that, so it will go here, it will transfer it, and it will return back the result, which comes here, right? And again the SOAP protocol, the SOAP framework, whatever. So it actually again builds the SOAP message, right? And it creates an element called add response and puts the result inside it. But where does all these things come from? This name called add, this name called add response, this return. We did not write all this, right? How do you know or how NetBeans understood that it needs to create a web page like this? So here we have the WSDL, that is the web service description language. When we annotated the class like as web service and annotated the method as @web method and the params as web param, right? So when we did deploy, it automatically generated a WSDL out of the file. So how does a WSDL look like? It's basically the same URL, right? But we will type here WSDL. So it will open up the WSDL. Okay. So let us save it somewhere in some XML editor. Desktop, saving as an XML. I'll open it in Notepad++. Okay. To format it. Okay, we are done now. Let's see. So I think I asked him to stop short of explaining the WSDL because I would show you a live example how the WSDL looks in our case, right? So what it has, this is the WSDL, right? This is an XML. So WSDL has 5 parts: types, message, code type, binding, and service. So let us go from bottom to top. What is a service? This was the name that I gave, right? Calculate SOAP service, right? It has added another service at the end. So let's open it. It says it relates to a port here, okay? And the port's binding is this. So where do we find this binding? We go one level up again, right? One level up, we find the binding where it says that the style is document. We are passing a document, right? Operation is add, right? And it has an input and it has an output. The input is a literal because it's not an object type, it's an integer type, right? And the output is also a literal. Okay. Now, what is add? Right. So it says the type of the binding is calculate SOAP service. We go up, we find that the calculate SOAP service has an, from here it came, right? From here it came, the input is add and the output is add response. So this was the tag that was generated there, right? So here we understand why it was generated as add response, because NetBeans understands that the method is add, I'll just add response at the end, response word, and make it the output type. So what are these types? Let's go again up. We have add and add response, right? Add and add response. So these are parameters. So then we go, what are actually a schema? So here it has added a schema location, right? I could have added the definition of add and add response here itself, but let us go. This is, I talked about when I said XML, I talked about XML schema definition language, right? So this is an XML. No, this is an XML. This add and add response, these are XML. But what it looks like, what type it is, integer or what. So that we take from the XSD schema definition. So I go there, I will open up the XSD. Okay. So here comes the XSD. So it says it contains, this is how an XSD looks like, which will define what type of data or how data is stored in an XML. So here I have two elements are there, add and add response. Elements can be thought of as object, okay, and the type is like class. So the class is add and add response type is add response. So you go down, add is a complex type because it's not a simple value, right? It has two values in it, so it's an object kind of thing. So it says it's a sequence, means one after the other. So A, its type XSD integer, so it's an integer type. Similarly, add response also contains another element inside it, that is return. Here it named it as user. If we modify it, right, we can modify this file and I can upload there, so it will change. So it is also a type of entity. So this is how a WSDL looks like. So this is a very, this is the heart of, how different clients and should understand a web service to be and consume it. So yeah. So this is what I showed you. I mean, simple. How do you create a web service? SOAP web service. Though SOAP is very tough, but you saw how easy it became with this, right? You just right clicked and did all the things. WSDL you need to know, because if something goes wrong, you need to understand where it is going wrong or what types. This is very important. When I also studied about WSDL, I never studied it actually, because it's so much of nouns and so much of terms and all those things. But gradually, you see that how machines really rendered that page. It read the WSDL and rendered the page for you. So if you are asked that, okay, I will give you any web service, you generate a page for me. Because remember, web service is for machine consumption. It's not for user, right? So for user, if somebody else is providing a service as a web service, how the user will understand? User only understands the web page, right? So you can create fields there based on the web service and take the values from the fields and call the web service like what it did here. So how do you understand how the web service looks? That's from the WSDL. Because any web service that is published in UDDI or some other registry, it will give you the WSDL link always. So WSDL link you can open up and understand it. So this is a benefit. Okay. So I was to actually show you how to create or retrieve details of a student class or some student database or something. But my friend is always already going to show you via REST API, right? So you will see how REST is different, how REST is much more easy to do that. You don't need to send SOAP and all. You just have to represent, put that in the address bar. So he will show you about that. So yeah, over to Nick.
Okay, finally my turn comes up. I will change the signal to my laptop.